You are listening to the Mark Lesko Podcast, a podcast by diehard fans for fans. Mark covers all things Penn State football and the Pittsburgh Steelers, as well as anything related to the sports and fitness world. Tune in weekly to listen to a couple of dedicated fans talk about these topics without filters. Thank you for listening to the Mark Lesko Podcast.
What's up, Steeler Nation? Welcome to the Mark Lesko Podcast. I'm your host, J-Rod, and this is Steelers Central. So, little news. They said that Gabe Davis is coming in for his second interview for 3 months ago. Apparently, they think that bringing in a guy who has issues, is going to somehow miraculously be the solution. I don't know how I feel about it. It just seems like that's not going to be the right kind of Band-Aid to put on this situation. Yes, I know that they still have Calvin Austin with issues. He is struggling to return, which, again, kind of shows me this is why they kind of bringing him in. But of all guys, like Gabe Davis, I don't know, it just seems like that's not really going to be the best solution. I don't know. But the headline for this opening kickoff is going to be where Tomlin goes, the team goes. And I do feel like that's really what it's all about. It doesn't matter who the WR2 is for this season. It doesn't matter that the preseason game was kind of iffy when you have, 2 for 12 with third downs and, a bunch of turnovers. It doesn't really matter because, again, the season is what counts. And what counts is that this man, Mike Tomlin, is going to be our head coach. It's been that way for quite some time. And again, I was kind of my subject of my last video, but I guess really what it comes down to is I like what I see on paper and I like what they are going to be bringing to the table. But in the end, it just needs to be said about whatever he chooses and whatever he decides, that's how it's going to look. I mean, yes, Aaron Rodgers may go off script and it may be he is the reason why they do something, or maybe the offensive line finally makes holes for Caleb Johnson and Caleb Johnson hits them every single time. Maybe that's the case. I mean, I'm just saying there's all these tangibles that are about to go down for what will be the deciding factor as to who's going to compete against the Ravens and the Bills and teams like that. So it's definitely a lot to ask from a team that a year ago had virtually so many great things going for them, but all the holes that they didn't really address and or got exposed really got exposed. I mean, the whole last end of the season, I mean, you saw how bad the defensive line just let things happen. But again, guys like Derek Harmon and Peyton Wilson and Patrick Queen finally having like the whole season and off season and spring preseason and all that stuff to get things ready for it. We should see an improvement on those things. We should. But again, a lot of that has to do with what Tomlin comes up with because Tomlin does basically run that defense. I mean, Terrell Austin can say he's a coach. That's pretty much what it is. But we know that Tomlin's the guy in charge of what happens defensively with that team. Again, the whole issue that they have had for years is offensive numbers and lack thereof. And that's the thing about it. I kept making that in my point last week where it's like you have guys that are coming in to be better. And Omar Khan brought these guys in to be better. But in the end, the coach has to get the right people ready. And offensively, that seems to be a problem. But again, we could have Aaron Rodgers just be the guy who takes care of the offense. Maybe even Arthur Smith has another title, but it's like maybe Aaron just kind of improvs out there and makes things happen. But that really can't be the case if DK is getting double teamed and there's no other option to throw to except for, an ailing Calvin Austin, ailing Gabe Davis, or, an underperforming Roman Wilson. I mean, everyone seems like, they don't want to admit it, but it sounds like Wilson is not the guy that they wanted him to be or he should be, but it's not the regular season yet. So we're going to have to wait and see if anything does transpire from that. But everything again has to really start to center around the fact that it's really Tomlin's put up or shut up year. Really, we know that he's had about 5 or 6 of them in the last decade, but I do feel like this is finally that, where you've had all these winning records, all the 17 non-losing seasons. You haven't had, everything's to your credit and, your name. So, but these last several years, it's just the same thing. I love how there is a same storyline with the Pirates where they are a losing team, and the Steelers, they are a losing team in the playoffs now. It's just the same song every single year. We get into the playoffs and we don't do anything, or we look bad, or something occurred where we don't have all our players healthy. All that great thing where you have a reason for it not to be, but the reasons are done. I'm just, regardless of, they could have a meteor hit some of the players and they have no team to play. That, even then, I would still fire Tomlin for not stopping the meteor. It just needs to be addressed that they have this guy in charge, and he's had that same voice, had that same attitude, and the analysts and the reporters for all over that cover the NFL can love him to death. But as Steelers fan, I have to think that we're collectively sick of this narrative where, oh yeah, the guy just knows how to talk a good talk and doesn't really do a whole lot of, walk-in or action. The results don't speak for what he says. I don't understand how much more they can really build this dude's resume up. And yeah, again, he could do everything he wants with his, voice, with how he speaks and everything. And he knows how to talk. So I'm not saying the guy doesn't know how to be a leader, or these guys will follow him through anything. But when is it finally going to amount to an actual win, like election in the playoffs, like a championship run, a Super Bowl win? We haven't been on one of those in a long time. And yeah, we're starting to see a generation go by that it's like, yeah, I remember when last time they saw him, I was in college. And it's like, now I'm going to be a middle-aged guy soon. It's just like, this is crazy. Where they just have so much success, so many good players, and it amounted to nothing in terms of championships. You don't have the results. You don't have the thing to actually brag about. You got to this point, but you never went the other step. It's an infuriating thing, but I just feel like we do need to just get it out right now, where it's like, this is it, Tomlin, this is it for the Steelers. I just want it to be known that it's like, if it doesn't amount to at least a playoff win, at least that, where it's like, if we get to the postseason and he has a win, darn it, yes, we have to keep him. I mean, because yes, he finally did something that we haven't seen him do in a long time. So it stinks that it's like that's really the goal, but I would like to see that for this season for sure. If he can do that, I will finally end the Tomlin bashing. So that's said on that. So let's move on to halftime, which is the final 2025 schedule for the Steelers. And so far, I think I have them at 9-3. Again, that could easily change if certain players, don't perform. What the reports you're hearing about, what they don't do right now in the preseason, you can't judge it. You can't. You just cannot say, oh, well, gee, they did in the preseason, they're going to do it in the regular. So it shouldn't be that bad. And again, their final game against the Panthers, oh, please. Is anyone going to have any interest in that whatsoever? It's the worst team in the NFL. They don't do anything to prepare. We're probably not going to do anything to prepare. It's just a meaningless final preseason game. So this is how they're going to end the preseason, and they start up in 2-3 weeks. I'm so pumped for this. I cannot wait for the NFL season to start. We're getting closer, guys. So it's going to be a good one. It is. So let us finish this prediction with the final 5 games. We're starting with the Steelers at the Ravens. December 7th, it's a 1 o'clock start. Let's just get it out of the way. Let's say it's a loss. Let's just say it. To win in Baltimore, I mean, that's a tall order. And if you notice, at the beginning of the predictions, I think I had us going winless, we were going 4-0. We're going to start the season with a winning record, not lose a single game. And then the next 4 games I predicted, I think I had them 3-1, with their loss being against the Bengals. And then last week, so it was 2-2. I said that we were going to lose to the Chargers and the Bills. So it seems like now the losses are starting to pile up. It was the same kind of setup last year where it's like we really went in strong because our schedule kind of complemented that. And then at the end of the season, we kind of went through a gauntlet. It's not as bad as last year, but it's still technically a gauntlet for the 2025 season. And then we have the Dolphins game against the Steelers at home. That looks like a Monday Night Football game. It's 8:15. Yeah, I think it's our only Monday Night Football game this year. That's going to be interesting. Minka's return to Pittsburgh. And I really don't know what the Dolphins are going to look like this year. I really, really don't. I know they gave us Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith. Those are huge names for their offense. And, Tua Tagovailoa, I don't know. It's interesting for sure. I think it's going to be close, but I will give us a win because it is at home. So that would 9-4 with the Ravens, and now puts us at 10-4 on the season. So the final 3 games, the Steelers at the Lions. Another afternoon game, 24-25, kind of prime time in the middle of the day. That's December 21st. It's the game before Christmas. As much as I know I want to say they want to have a win on this one, it does look like that will be a loss. I don't want to say that, but I want to see us take on this team and a potential Super Bowl team. The Lions have everything going for them, have a lot of great guys. They've been the story for the past couple of years. And the Dan Campbell thing, it's nice to know that teams like Detroit can actually have something to look forward to finally. They haven't had these kind of years since the Matthew Stafford years of the late 2000s. And so, they've kind of had that kind of drought as we've had, but we've historically known them to never have that. So now they look like the team that they've always wanted to be after 70-some years. That would be a fun one, but at the end, I think it's going to be a close loss. So that puts us at 10-6. Or 10-5. Yeah, 10-5. Sorry, 10-5. And then we are against the Browns, 1 o'clock game at Cleveland. December 28th. I would like to think this will be an easy win. Not to say maybe it'll be a trap game because it'll be in Cleveland. I just feel like that will be a win. We'll just sweep Cleveland this year. So that puts us at 11-6. Now, the game against the Ravens at home, January 4th, the final game of the season. If everything goes the way I think it will, this makes the decision of it being either an 11-6 team or a 12-5 team. Aaron Rodgers having everything, the storyline going in for his final season, and maybe Cam Hayward's back by then because their disputes are over. I don't really know what that story will be like because there hasn't been a resolution yet, so I just feel like everything going the way it is, my friends. I'm going to give us a win. I'm going to say that they're going to take that game, and they're going to end their season with a 12-5 record. That's my prediction. Now, again, everything's subject to change, but I'll go with my gut, and I will stand by it. I'm not changing anything. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to go 12-5 this season. There you have that. So let me do the 2-minute warning, closing it all out. Again, this week's the final preseason game. You have, nothing really to, write home about. The game that they played against the Buccaneers, they lost 17-14. No starters were really in this game. You really can't base it off of what did you have? Mark Harmon had a great sack, but he only had 2 tackles. Guys like Cole Holcomb and Juan Thornhill, they both had 3 or 4 hits themselves. It's certain little things are good, but the whole thing doesn't amount to what's actually to come in the regular season. And again, like I said, the start of the season is pretty straightforward. They're not tough teams. they should be winnable games. So you have the start of the season should be able to get you your answers to the problems that you may have. So it's like if they were going into what Cleveland has, like I've seen a couple of teams as regular season starters. I mean, if you guys haven't seen Cleveland's, oh my gosh, talk about getting slapped around like some sort of old-fashioned vaudeville skit. I mean, oh my goodness, I think it's like they have the Ravens, they started with the Bengals, and then they have the Ravens, and then they have the Packers and the Lions and it's nuts. Like I could only imagine, and I know they play us like week 6, and it's like, my God, they could start out 0-6 right off the bat and just start their off-season like plans already. Like it's nuts. Some record or some schedules, it doesn't look good for them. And of course, other news with the AFC North, like, the Bengals look like they're going to be trading Trey Hendrickson. And it's like, oh my goodness, like this team just refuses to like try to be competitive. Like the Bengals, they went to the Super Bowl a couple years ago. That was the closest they have been in like 30 years. But that organization, it's like they do everything on one side and they don't address the other side. It is absolutely crazy between the Browns and the Bengals, where it's like, yeah, the Ravens and the Steelers are the only two teams in that division that want to try to do anything. Like, it's so crazy to know that we've got ourselves a pretty good chance to win this division this year. Now, again, 12-5 sounds like a what division winning record to me, but who knows what the Ravens have in store for their season. They could very well go 14-3. We don't really know, but Lamar and company, they're ready to go. I know that Aaron Rodgers has been around a long time, so he should be ready to go. And yeah, it's really, again, all circling back to Tomlin though. It's just what we know to be the thorn in our sides when it comes to what is it that is the thing. Like, and it's like, we know that these players have been brought in. We know our Mark Khan's a great GM. We know that the Rooney family want to be winners. They do say it. But again, Tomlin shows us year in and year out that something went wrong, and the coaching staff always seems to be the scapegoat, and he's still here and they're gone, but they still have the same results. And it's like, it's not difficult to figure out what needs to change, but it's definitely that time. So knowing that next year the draft will be in Pittsburgh, it's going to be a huge it would be a pretty cool scene, again, if there were to be a 12-5 team, go into the playoffs and actually make some noise, potentially go all the way. I mean, there's nothing about this roster that tells me they can't accomplish that. I mean, they have 2-3 things that could derail. I mean, all it would take would be for one offensive lineman to get hurt and then have his replacement show up, and that'd be the end of that. I mean, it's basically the offensive line has to stay healthy the entire year for this 12-5 record to come true, and for the running game to really be established with Caleb Johnson and Jalen Warren. Everything needs to click. And again, if Gabe Davis is your option, fine, but that doesn't sit well with me as a fan, where it's like I'm relying on a dude that has potential injury issues, and it's like, you didn't choose him because he had the injury that in May, and that's why you let him walk. And it just amazes me that guys like Amari Cooper are still out there, and players like that. I mean, I've heard that Aaron Rodgers has talked to Odell Beckham Jr. and potential. It's like, oh God, please. I'm just saying, like, man, you talk about all the names you could think of. Like, coming to the Steelers, really? Like, that would be crazy if Odell Beckham comes here. But yeah, this is looking to be an okay solution, not like oh gosh, like we're going to be so afraid of you now, Gabe Davis. I mean, he has good numbers and has, the size and the stature. I think the dude's like 6'1", 220. So, I mean, he's big. So, I mean, that would be helpful. But again, it's not really saying, oh, well, we're trying our darndest to do something spectacular, but it just seems like it has to be an all-in attitude. It really should, because how many years have you gone without a playoff win? How many years have you been out of the Super Bowl? I feel like now is the time to do something. And all these moves, again, with the Jonnu and Jalen and Aaron, they should be the things. And again, DK, this the greatest surprise probably in the last 10 some years for the Steelers. There's so many names that they've brought in, and I couldn't be happier to know that they have players that have. The defense has backups. So, I mean, we're going to always be competitive defensively, but the issue has always been the offense. The issue has always been Tomlin. Can these two things finally be addressed, and can we have a winning season? So my predictions say yes, but we have to wait until the actual season to come in. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode again. I enjoy the heck out of it. If you didn't see my Pirates video yet, I have redecorated a smidge, getting some representative for the Steelers, Pirates, and Penn State. Guys, I know that the Pirates have always been a disappointment, but we have the Steelers and we have Penn State. Football's almost back, baby. I am getting really excited because, again, not only do I love that sport, but it's actually something good to talk about. It's going to be great storylines. We have great players, and I'm looking forward to it all, and that's just what it's all about, guys. We just want to have a good season. We want to have fun, and these guys know it. They have been it. I just hope that they are it. That's really what it's all about. So, again, guys, hope you've enjoyed the episode. I look forward to them. We'll do this one next week, and here we go, Steelers.